Hey everybody, this is Helena, and I'm here with my husband Tom today.
Hi everyone.
We wanted to come on and answer a question we've been receiving a lot lately in the comment sections of some of our other videos here on YouTube. I keep hearing from women who ask me if I ever had to state a boundary with Tom, and we thought that was such a fantastic question. It really made us think, actually, and we got to talking about boundaries and relationships, and we wanted to give you guys a whole different way of looking at this, because the short answer is no. I actually never had to sit down and have a real serious conversation because Tom was doing something that was just so unacceptable to me that I had to state a boundary. We've certainly stated preferences to each other. We can give some examples in this video, but we want to just give you a whole different way of looking at this. Like we mentioned, we want to start off by saying that of course boundaries are very important. You don't want to be going through life with zero boundaries, right? But stick with us because we're going to hopefully give you a new perspective on this. Is there anything you want to say to kind of pre-frame this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, when this question came up, it was kind of unfamiliar to me. I was actually a little perplexed by how frequently the word boundaries was used and stating boundaries, and the whole idea was kind of interesting to me that that seemed to be something that was relatively common. So it actually took you giving me a couple examples to even understand what sort of things people were having difficulties with and needing to state boundaries around.
Yeah, I know everybody loves getting Tom's perspective as someone who's not in this field. He's just kind of just an amazing, high quality man. He's the kind of guy that every woman I know would want to be with. He's such a gentleman. He's so respectful, and he was that way right from the start. So you don't want to have to go through a relationship with this orientation of I have to state a boundary, state a boundary, state a boundary. We would recommend just catching yourself. If you find yourself constantly having to have these endless conversations about boundaries over and over and over with a particular man, it's probably a clue that he's not the right man for you, and he's not someone that really takes your feelings or needs or desires into account when he's doing things and making decisions. Now, of course, we've stated preferences, and that's very different. I think how we should have women think about this is having your boundaries really strong and really secure on the inside, not on the outside, like this wall that you build up around yourself, where you meet a guy and immediately you're like, hey, just to let you know, if you want to date me, you need to take me out every weekend, or you need to call me every night. There's so much value in seeing what a man does all on his own without this constant prodding or prompting from you. And then, of course, stating preferences as things go along, or just seeing what he does, because that's going to give you a lot of information about his interest level, how much he cares about your feelings, how much he's thinking about you throughout the day, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think most guys don't want to be given a rule book and then constantly reminded of the rules. I think that, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of value in what a guy will do on his own. Hopefully, if a guy is interested and invested in a relationship, he wants to make you happy. So he should be doing things on his own, of his own volition, because he wants to see you happy. If he's doing things only because he's being told to do or not do certain things, then that doesn't seem like that's probably very sustainable.
That's so true. We posted a video not too long ago called How to Inspire a Man to Want to Meet Your Needs, and we talked about this. I believe in that video we gave the example when we first started dating, how I wasn't even conscious that I was doing this at the time. I wasn't trying to make him do anything, but when he would call me in the evening, I would say, it feels so good to hear your voice, or it feels so good to see your name pop up on my phone on the nights that we don't see each other, and that let him know that the phone call was welcomed, and that's something I actually wanted, rather than, within the first month of dating saying, just to let you know, I want to talk on the phone 3 times a week, and I want to see you twice a week, and every weekend I expect that we have a date. That just never needed to happen because he was consistent and moving things forward, right?
Right.
Yeah, so important. There have been times, of course, like we mentioned, that we've stated preferences. I think maybe giving an example of when something maybe didn't go perfectly would probably be helpful here.
Yeah.
The one that's coming to mind is, like I mentioned, Tom is such a gentleman. He's always, he opens every door for me, the car door, every single time, pulls out the chair, carries, anytime we go on a trip or anything, he carries my suitcase. He's just the most amazing guy. sometimes I would come up here. Most of the time he would come down to visit me. We lived about an hour apart when we were dating last year. Every once in a while after we got into the relationship more, I would come up here since he worked up here during the week. He wasn't able to come down to see me. And if I had something with me, if I had like my laptop case or a bag or something, he would normally carry it from the car into his house. And I remember one time he didn't do that. There was limited parking at the time, so sometimes he would go out and park his car earlier in the day, and then when I would get there, I would take that space, and then he would move his car. It was just a parking issue. So one time I remember he did that. So I pulled into the parking space, and he didn't come back out to help me with my bags. Not that I had that much, but it occurred to me, oh, he's not coming back out to help me. And women in that situation, it's natural to feel maybe a little triggered or feel all kinds of things like, well, I guess he doesn't care about me, or this is unacceptable. But since 99.99% of the time he's so amazing, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I did say something though, I remember, right? I think so, right?
You did. I don't exactly recall what it was that you said now.
Yeah, I came back in through the garage, and I said something like, oh, I thought you were going to maybe come back out and help with my bags, or something like that. Like, it was more coming from a place of curiosity, not just to let you know I expect you to carry my things for me all the time. Because the truth is, I think it probably just slipped your mind or something. What was going on in your mind in that moment?
I think it took longer to do something else, move my car or something, and I basically assumed that by the time I was coming back out that you were already there. So actually, as I walked out, you were already walking up. So, but when you made that remark, I recall thinking that, I remember kind of kicking myself, because I remember thinking that I was planning to come out and help you, and I wanted to. And when you said that, it kind of made me, it was totally non-confrontational. The way you brought it up was, like you said, probably more out of a sort of feeling of curiosity or something. But I remember thinking that I wished I had done that. I kind of felt badly, like I had intended to come help you, but it was just, things took longer than normal, and just the circumstances were not the same as they had been in previous times.
I hate that you felt bad about that. That like makes me feel bad, because he is such, like, if you guys could be there for every car door being open, so that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt, right? But it can be easy, and I know it's such a minor example, but it's probably just one of the main ones that we thought of. It's these little moments where we get triggered, and then we go, oh my God, he doesn't care about me. He's taking me for granted. Like, we just go right back into the default of wanting to either blame ourselves or blame him or make him wrong, or let him know that that's not okay, when it just slipped your mind. Something took longer, and you figured out, and that's it. But ever since then, he would come, like, he knew that that's something that I not expected, that I was entitled to, but something that I really liked. Right?
But I think that's another good point too, is that I knew that was not something that you were mandating or expecting that was that anything was contingent upon. That was just something that made you happy, made you feel, appreciated. And that was the reason that I wanted to do it. It wasn't because you had expressed that was one of your rules or something.
It's a deal breaker for me.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you're with a good guy who's in his empowered masculine energy, he's activated, he wants to make you happy, he's moving things forward, he does, everything else really great, like, give him the benefit of the doubt. If you're not with a guy like that, that's a problem, right? So when you get triggered when these things happen, of course, if there was like some bigger issue, like, I just can't even imagine it being like that. But I hear from women all the time who say their man is flirting with other women online, they're, going to lunch with an ex-girlfriend, every couple weeks, and she doesn't feel comfortable with that, and she's told him, but he just keeps doing it. I hear about all kinds of things. By the way, is this helpful, hearing things from our own life? We have other stories we can share. We don't know if this is helpful or not, so let us know in the comment section, and we love to hear from you guys. I just keep hearing from so many women who have attracted a really high quality man, just like you, who just is kind of amazing right from the beginning. And of course, there's conversations like that one, or there's things where you state a preference or something like that. But it's just such a difference keeping your boundaries on the inside, which allows you to be open and receptive and curious on the outside. So a man can actually get close to you and you can see what he does. Right? I think over time, it would just start to drive a man away to like constantly, before he even does anything, just have this orientation where your boundaries are on the outside and you have to let him know what to do, let him know what to do, let him know what to do. I mean, don't you think?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of prescriptive approach is, like I said, probably not very sustainable. And it really leads to the question that is the foundation of the relationship really there? I mean, then that's not to say too, that when you are stating a preference, that it has to be clear, it has to be well understood. If it's, stated in a way that isn't very transparent, then obviously a lot of guys will probably not know what your preferences are.
So true. Yeah. A lot of women, they think they're being super clear, but they're just beating around the bush. They're just not being straightforward. Another thing, I hope you don't mind that I'm sharing this, that just came to mind. I mean, I hear from so many women where their man is just not doing the things that he used to do at the beginning. Like it just, he gets busy, it slips his mind. Maybe he's taking her for granted a little bit. Another example that just came to mind, and let us know if it's helpful hearing examples like this. Something I loved that he would do every morning is, this is kind of embarrassing to share. It's kind of like, he would like kiss my forehead. He gets up way earlier than I do. He has to wake up really early. When he would get out of bed, he would kiss my forehead before he left the room. And I just loved that. It made me feel just like so cared for. And I would notice I noticed he was trying not to wake me up after a while, that he'd just kind of like sneak out of the bed and just like leave the room. And I could tell that he was trying to not disturb me so I could get a couple more hours of sleep. But I really missed those kisses. I missed that, so I think I just told you in a straightforward way. I think I said, hey, I really missed the way you used to kiss my forehead. I realized that you're just trying to not wake me up. I can tell. And you didn't even think I was awake. So you were literally just trying to not disturb me. But I was super clear. That's something I really liked. And then of course, ever since then, I get lots of love in the morning, lots of hugs and kisses. I'm interested, did that feel like I was telling you that you were doing something wrong or not doing something that you should be doing?
No, because like you said, I mean, there's no way I would have known that otherwise. Like you said, I wasn't even aware that you were even really awake sometimes. So I really did think that I was disturbing you. I was trying to avoid disturbing you. So I was glad that you told me that. You even, I think, told me at the time that you were okay if it woke you up. You would rather be woken up and have that, than to have me try to not disturb you. That's definitely something that you had to tell me for me to really know. Yeah,
again, give him the benefit of the doubt. If he's a good guy, he's gonna want to know what it is you like. He's gonna want to know what it is that makes you happy, just like you're gonna want to know what he likes. I mean, this goes both ways. So those are just a couple different examples. If we think of more, we'll let you know, but we just kind of wanted to give you a new perspective on this. So we would love to hear from you guys. Again, just wanted to reiterate, boundaries of course are important. You don't want to just go through life boundaryless, but I think there's a difference of keeping them on the inside and trusting yourself rather than building this wall around yourself, because deep down you don't trust yourself to not get out of situations that don't feel good. Or a lot of women don't trust themselves because they kept in the past putting themselves in situations over and over and over where they ended up heartbroken. So they just build these walls around them. The good guys can't get in. They just attract the men that, if you feel like you have to safeguard yourself against all these bad things that might happen, all these terrible men, you're going to attract those kinds of men as evidence to confirm those beliefs. So this is probably a topic for a whole nother video. There's so much to say on this. We wanted to try and keep this one short for you guys, but let us know what you think. And I love getting your perspective. That was amazing. Thank you so much. And do you guys like the stories from our life, or do you want us to just stick to giving advice? Let us know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We hope this was helpful, and we will talk to you again very soon.